One more. Temple warfare repairing all the world's economies. Got it. Do 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 do. Part 1, part 3, part 3. Oh my goodness. President Obama, this documentary is 4 hours long. Part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. I will guide you through the subprime mortgage crisis.
Families losing their homes.
I mean, let me start.
Losing their jobs.
Let me start from
and their savings.
as early as I can. 1 second.
Students.
President Obama here? Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Oh, you're gonna love me. Well, that is a. Hey, what's up? What's up, President Obama? You're gonna love me. I'm gonna assume you can hear me. Tiny. It is September 6, 2025. Want to watch a documentary with me? I'm recording. It's like as if I'm getting you a choice, right, President Obama? I mean, you know, Michelle's gonna love me. He's like President Obama. What do you mean, President Obama? Yeah, you're quitting smoking, by the way, President Obama, because you promised Michelle that Michelle said, "Okay, I'll support you." Oh, Amy Sedaris. Oh. I met her brother, I guess. I think maybe in person.
Good morning, Look Expo. Hello, and
Hello.
welcome to Washington, D.C. It's a pleasure to welcome you to my city. It's Senator Bordon, type A.
I'm skipping over. One second.
Live
Telephone.
remedy. Give, not.
Hey, what's up,
Pushing
President
for
Obama?
good
Anyway,
early childhood education.
it is still September 6th, 1:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Saturday, 2025.
2004,
It is,
people of Illinois elected him to the United States Senate, and in his past
part
few
one,
years on the
turn-
job here on the Hill, he has become known as a politician who reaches across the party aisle to advance the causes he believes in.
Tonight on
The honorable
Frontline,
gentleman from Illinois
Episode 1 of a special 4-hour investigation.
You created the mess we're in, and now you're saying, sorry, cost us as much as $50 million.
Inside the financial crisis.
Wall Street got bailed out, and Main Street didn't.
How did we get here?
Moldy.
Other banks were taking these
Cherry.
ideas and applying them in ways that they'd never expected.
Rotten cherry.
Once the seed was planted, there wasn't any stopping it.
We never imagined. We were just taking the risk. And it came right back like a boomerang.
They challenged a Frankenstein monster.
Money, Power, and Wall Street. Episode 1. Tonight on Frontline.
Dun 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 dun. This is going to be a little distracting. I'm trying to give a speech and I'm telling you how to fix the financial crisis. You're president.
Every day, tens of thousands of workers make their way to Wall Street.
Yes, you're too early.
Banks, brokerages, hedge funds, insurance companies, and mortgage lenders.
I know,
It
right?
is the largest
This is the first thing I
sector
found.
of the American economy.
I was trying to get to
An
the beginning
industry
of the
that is almost
presidency.
double the size of America's manufacturing sector. A business with enormous power and global reach. It is the industry that led America and the world into its worst economic crisis since the Great Depression.
Money, power, and Wall Street, a risky business. The end of days from your perspective, but it's actually not. It's actually going to be fine, and I
The
will walk
banks
you
say
through it.
they exist to create wealth, holding in trust our collective worth, promising to invest the trillions of dollars that stream in from businesses, pension
I know you
funds,
can
and
hear
savings
this,
accounts that belong to all of us.
Allie and Michelle's book sucks. Not
One
your
morning
wife.
in 2011,
Alexandra Michelle's book
bankers
sucks.
arriving in Lower Manhattan were caught by surprise. The recession had destroyed $11 trillion of Americans' net worth. The recovery seemed far off. Occupy Wall Street wanted bankers held responsible.
Most Americans think, and with good reason, that Wall Street got bailed out and Main Street didn't. We have very high unemployment. We lost 8.5 million jobs in the recession. People's houses aren't worth what they paid for them. A lot of them don't have jobs. Their kids are graduating from college and are moving back in.
What's up? Since been reversed. Housing, we have a housing
It is
crisis.
pretty clear, actually, that there was massive illegality going on. And if somebody with subpoena power was intent on prosecuting that, I don't think there's really much doubt that they would be quite successful in criminal prosecutions.
Yep. This is the rise of communism in America.
In a matter of weeks, Occupy demonstrations spread to scores of cities across America and the world, calling for radical changes in the banking system.
This is where the Continental is, that triangle.
Bankers responded by saying that the answer is to move on and get back to business.
Some of our companies made a series of bad mistakes. And we all paid for them, including and related to the economic crisis.
So what makes people upset is that, I mean, a lot of the people that are on the streets demonstrating Occupy Wall Street, is that the economy hasn't recovered, but banks have.
If you want a stronger economy, you have to have
I haven't
financial
read that book
services
yet.
companies that are safe
I
and
used to have
sound
it.
and able to lend and able to finance their
And,
customers. Now, if you
a
want
little
to
bit of an incident that threw all my books almost in my group.
and hammer the banks and make sure that they fail, because then you'll have another recession.
Do you understand why they're angry? Do you have any comment, Mr. Feinstein? Can we ask you a question, sir? Can we give the American people?
Well, these bankers have no idea what.
Do you understand why
There's
they're
there are
angry?
bigger problems than just the.
Any regrets about the way you spent the taxpayers' money?
Since the meltdown of 2008, there have been dozens of hearings.
And we regret that people have lost money.
He's going to be president.
Whatever we did, whatever the standards of the time were,
Well,
it didn't work out.
my wife has been kidnapped by Russian spies, and my daughters are dead. Andrew's daughters are dead. Your daughters are fine. Oh, President Biden's daughters are fine. President Biden's and his daughters are murdered. Dead.
There have been few satisfying answers.
Never been born.
What goes on at Wall
Never been
Street?
born. Same thing.
What
Back to the
caused
Future, you know.
crisis and how did we get where we are? It's
The second generation time
difficult
machine has been
to
destroyed.
understand.
So.
I understand that point. Maybe you could.
Well, I think it's in many ways it's very simple. I think
America's second generation
every
time machine has been
industry
destroyed.
have to focus
It's
on
still September 6, 2025,
But at the end
2:05
of the day,
p.m.
people usually
Saturday.
have a pretty good ability to tell when something's wrong.
This is a really long documentary on
that home prices don't go up forever.
how to save America.
This is
How Senator McCain
CDO.
briefing President Obama in 2006. Credit default swap, right? CDO.
I think finance may have gotten too complicated.
The CDO. Credit default.
That are pooled together and then can be sliced in a synthetic. You lose
Yeah.
reference securities
Oh, never
that
mind.
are indexed to specific pools of mortgage.
And that the managers of these large financial institutions in some ways have been given an impossible task that they won't be able to comprehend what it is their institutions are doing. And that is really, really scary.
You
You didn't know
created the
what-
mess we're in.
I know what it
Now you're
is.
saying,
That's what a CDO is.
sorry,
That's the name.
trust us. You
I know what a
created
CDO is and what they say.
You created credit default swaps. It
Yeah,
never
credit
existed
CDO
20
don't default
years
swap,
ago.
yeah.
Who was the brilliant person who came and said, let's do credit default swaps?
I mean, I would have.
Find him. Fire him.
Credit default swap is kind of nice. I mean, some
It's
dumbass
hard
want to
pinpoint
give you money
the
to.
origins of America's financial crisis. But one weekend at this resort in Boca Raton, Florida, is a good place to start. Assembled here in June 1994 were a group of young bankers from J.P. Morgan. At the time, it all seemed innocent enough.
Raton was a gathering of people that were part of the global derivative group at JP Morgan.
Ah,
As a
derivatives.
celebration, in part as an opportunity to relax, but perhaps much more
Derivatives.
importantly, as an opportunity to get creative, innovative people together in a room to discuss a whole variety of different topics.
I mean, it's like
And
you
since
can't buy a
young,
credit default swap
mostly
on the
in their
Pacific
20s,
Palisades pouring
and since
down.
there's plenty of
Oh,
money
keep
floating around
fine.
and they're full of high spirits, they did what any young bunch of kids would do when they got drunk, they had parties, they threw
They
each other
created
pools.
something that was destroying
This
you.
is the normal stuff that happens at conferences.
Yes, I went into the pool fully clothed, as did my boss. Some people drank, some people didn't. I'm happy to say that most people stayed reasonably sober.
They played hard, but they also worked hard. They were striving to address an age-old problem in banking: how to reduce risk.
Certainty, I mean.
The first journalist to tell the J.P. Morgan story was Gillian Tett.
My mother's a
They began to look for ways to enable financial institutions to pass risk between them. One way to do that was to sell loans. Another way, though, was to separate out the risk of a loan going bad from the
Credit
loan
default
itself.
swaps.
And out of that came this drive to develop credit default swaps.
Yeah, the risk for the loan from the loan itself. That's the problem.
Credit default swaps, a kind of derivative that insures a loan against default. Traditionally, derivatives were a way to bet on the future value of something. For hundreds of years, farmers have traded derivatives to protect themselves against fluctuating crop prices. It is this type of derivative that has been traded on the Commodities Exchange in Chicago, along with the futures of fuels, currencies, and precious metals.
Chicago, huh?
In Boca Raton, the J.P. Morgan team realized that they could use credit derivatives to trade their loan risks.
Bankers borrowed one set of ideas that had been developed in the commodities market and applied
That's
to
the
loans
market
for the
that
first time.
Ray Dalio.
This
Ray
idea was
Dalio.
essentially created under the banner of making the financial system safer.
The first big credit default swap was engineered by Blythe Masters and involved Exxon.
Exxon was the client of the bank, and
Mhm.
the credit exposure associated with that relationship.
In the wake of the Exxon Valdez oil spill and a rash of lawsuits, Exxon took out a multi-billion-dollar letter of credit with J.P. Morgan.
A letter of credit creates credit risk. If Exxon were to fail on their obligations, then JP Morgan would have to step in and make good on those obligations on their behalf. It was a large amount of exposure, and there was a significant amount of
Yeah,
risk
and derivatives,
associated
and
with
then
that.
they just sell the risk.
And that risk is a big drain on a bank.
Every time a bank makes a loan, under banking regulations, they're required to set aside certain reserves of capital for the loan. So JP Morgan, when they made the loan to Exxon, would have had to set aside some capital.
JP Morgan has to hold certain capital relative to the size of that loan in the event the loan is not paid off at 100% as you expect. Of course, if you don't have to do that and you're a bank, you'd prefer not to do
Yeah,
that.
because his money's sitting there.
You can finance more freely, you can take on more debt.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
he's got money, he's just sitting there
So
doing nothing.
investors started looking at who could take on their loan risk and free up JP Morgan's capital.
Credit default.
She found a taker in London, the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development, the EBRD.
EBRD would receive compensation from JP Morgan for taking on or assuming credit risk, and felt that that was a good risk-reward proposition.
Yeah, so
And so risk was essentially dispersed. And why did JP Morgan do that? Because we wanted to free up our capacity to do more business.
yeah,
This was a major financial innovation. Credit derivatives made it possible for a bank to skirt capital requirements.
if somebody else had
That's
a
what actually happened. With the amount of capital that banks had to hold got less. And so banks became able to create more and more credit. They could make more loans.
The Exxon deal was just the beginning, demonstrating that risk could be offloaded and capital freed up. JP Morgan had struck gold. In 1998, they decided to ramp up their credit derivatives operation. That year, another young banker joined the team, Terry Doyle.
That's actually
Part of
really
my job
gorgeous.
was to come in as a trader.
Really gorgeous
And to
woman.
build a credit derivative trading.
Oh, you were
book.
gorgeous when you were
And
young. You're still kind of
around
beautiful.
the more
Let's go
exotic
pee.
products.
Let's go
That was
pee. I'll go pee.
what I was
She's
doing.
actually pretty beautiful. I was like, I'm gonna pee. I gotta go pee. Anyway, I'm back. I got pee. Yeah. Anyway, you know why I'm doing this, right?
Previously, JP Morgan had written credit swaps on similar companies like it.
Because the West is in danger of losing its economic might, and you cannot engage Russia in conflict without.
Worst racial violence anywhere in the nation. As bad as any place in Mississippi or Alabama during the late 60s.
Duyon was asked to write swaps on bundles of debt.
The idea was let's put together a portfolio.
I know. I can't believe you're so gorgeous. You created things that blew us like this.
Her first trade was a credit default swap on 306 corporate names on JP Morgan's books.
And that list of 306 entities, they were very highly rated. They had very low credit risk.
And the credit default swap was ensuring JP Morgan against default by those 300.
Yeah, you saw those. Somebody buys it.
Companies or other.
It would have been some of your most well-known household names. And so we were giving investors an opportunity to, in effect,
Johnson &
invest
Johnson or something? I don't
in
know.
our loan portfolio.
JP Morgan did a lot of work, did a lot of due diligence to assemble this portfolio of loans. And you can get it in one easy, bite-sized piece.
Yeah.
And the bank facilitated this by slicing up the portfolio into different risk levels or tranches. Investors could choose how much risk they were willing to take.
They could lose that loan,
Different levels of risk.
You buy that, it's like buying a
Big
bond or
return
something.
on really risky stuff.
Crazy
And there were
stuff.
some investors that wanted to earn a little return on stuff that wasn't risky at all.
Yeah.
From there, The bank looked to expand their business even further.
And that's the problem.
So along comes this idea, what if we could create a market where people were able to buy and sell freely, independently of the companies themselves, the risk associated with lending to those companies.
So we wind through the
And
streets.
so they began selling derivatives that were simply bets on any and all portfolios, whether the bank owned them or not.
Oh, whoa.
These products came to be known as synthetic collateralized debt obligations, synthetic CDOs.
There were investors who were able to invest
Credit
in
debt
some
obligation.
entities that they had not had access to before
By buying a credit default swap.
by investing in a credit default swap.
Credit
Because it was a
default
name that
CD
they hadn't
credit-
previously had access to. So there was a lot
Credit-
of very
credit debt
positive
operations.
reinforcement of the market, and it just grew.
CEOs.
It's very naturally. Once the seed was planted, there wasn't any stopping it.
It's
It was the
interesting.
beginning of an unfettered, brave new world of banking.
Why,
Pretty new stuff.
Oh,
This was
you were
incredibly
grabbing your
stuff.
own. Okay.
It was amazing.
I just
It
realized,
was
why the hell would you
clearly
do
a
that?
product that was in need. We had identified
Because
a need.
if another company didn't have
Derivatives
that,
group at JP Morgan
yeah,
were in their 20s, including Masters and Gale.
that's so
With the
weird.
creation of the credit default swap market, they had made banking history.
What in the long run this all meant was that credit, which is a vital part of the lifeblood of any economy, the global economy, became a more readily available asset. And the thinking was that that would be an
I always thought
unambiguously
credit
positive
default
thing.
was so weird. Why would you buy? It's like you're buying. It's like buying insurance on your neighbor's wife cheating on him.
Etc.
It's like buying. Yeah. It's like buying.
Just an idea in a room in Florida.
So you're betting on your neighbor's wife cheating on you with you, right? And then you get paid for it. It's a weird thing to.
Risk could now be easily traded. It fueled a worldwide credit boom.
Anyway, so you're on President Obama. 1 second.
Excited about the money to be made writing credit derivatives.
And, President Obama, this is the beginning of an interesting relationship. This is the beginning of an interesting relationship, President Obama. The time machine that has to help you save the world. So, because you're the president. It's not my fault. You're not me. I didn't get elected president.
The hope of the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
Speaking.
My 80s music right there. Oh my God, Mr. President. What the?
Earlier today, President Obama met with Vermont, the stimulus package making its way through Congress.
Anyway, President Obama it's 2:18 p.m. September 6, 2025, Saturday. I just talked to you on your book thingy about I need something longer, you know, to finish the rest of the.
Thank you for your leadership on matters of great importance to the American people. You were gracious in reaching out to the governors of our country in December before you took office. We had an opportunity at that time to discuss the economic crisis, the fiscal crisis that's confronting most of our states. And we indicated that we needed some assistance from the federal government to stimulate the economy, to create jobs, to help us balance our budgets and preserve essential programs for the American people and avoid the need to raise taxes at the state level. The House of Representatives has passed a bill, and we look forward to working with your administration, with the senators and members of the House to fashion a piece of legislation that fulfills the goals that we have articulated. I know there's some differences of opinion on some of the elements. If I were writing it, it might be a little different. If you were writing it, it might be a little different. But the essence of a recovery package is essential to get our nation's economy moving. And it's not just a matter of the bigger picture.
I'm trying to find videos that are long.
It's really quite personal in many cases. On my floor alone in the office building where I work, 4 relatives of employees have lost their jobs over the last couple of weeks. So this is serious matter. It's the kind of recession that is deep, that appears to be long, and the only way we're going to get the country moving again is a partnership between the states and the federal government. So we appreciate your hard work and look forward to coming to some conclusion in the very near future so we can get America moving again.
Well, I want to thank Governor Douglas for being here. We met early on.
Yeah, it's 2:20 p.m. September 6, 2025.
Governors from across the country.
Saturday, September 6, 2025.
Very few exceptions.
Wish me luck on tonight's lottery, right? $1.8 billion.
From Republicans and Democrats, the need for action and swift action. And that's what we've been trying
You know
to do.
what's really interesting, President Obama? If I tell you in a few days the lottery is going to be $3 billion, I would basically nobody will be able to win it.
The devastating effects
because of your actions, you think, and I tell you the truth, you know.
in the economy. People are being laid off, and that means that.
And I always tell the truth. If in a few days they say there's lottery is $3 billion, Andrew's about to win it, possibly.
Increase social services to provide support for
it would prevent other human beings from winning the lottery. The causality, it should anyway.
The recovery package
that's how it should work.
We are moving forward is designed to provide states relief to make sure that people who are laid off from their jobs are still able to get unemployment insurance, are still able
I mean, do you
to
have
get health care, and that we are putting in place the infrastructure, rebuilding roads, bridges, waterways, other projects at the state levels that.
Because this is 2009, you want to know the shit.
And we want to create or save 3 million jobs. And we want to.
Because this documentary is 4 hours. It has the information about what everybody else did in the world together with you.
There are still some differences between Democrats and Republicans on the Hill. Between.
So I'm looking at 2009.
Some of the products that's been discussed.
I will try to look for 2008 and 2007. You know.
Very modest differences get in the way of the overall package moving
preferably
forward.
in sequential order.
And so I'm very gratified.
I just need something with
that Governor Douglas, along with many governors from across the country, are going to be weighing in.
That's a confident voice. I mean,
the next few days. And,
it's still September 6, 2:22 p.m.
Pacific. So we can put America back to work and start digging ourselves out of this deep hole that we're in. So thank you so much for taking the time to be here.
Thank you, Mr. President.
All right.
You're welcome, brother. October. Okay, I was.
Through on behalf of all of us, first of all, I'd like to thank our partners, the
Blah 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 blah. Hold on.
Institute and our and try to answer.
1 second. 1 second. Oh, this is golden. 1 second.
Toward dealing with the mortgage crisis.
Secretary Clinton, President Obama. It is September 6, 2025, 2:25 p.m. I saw this in my past, so you gotta love this one. I gotta tell you all something. This guy has a love child, John Edwards. He cheated on his wife and he made a baby with. Anyway.
Adjustable rate mortgages, if they keep going up, the
I mean, I'm trying to look for video of Barack Obama to finish the documentary what we did to fix our economy. But anyway, sorry, Hillary. I wanted you to be the winner, by the way. He cheated on his wife. Barack, that guy cheated on his wife, made a baby, and then anyway, don't worry about it. His political career is over. The guy that's well, Hillary. If that guy, the white guy there, wasn't there, if the white guy wasn't there, President Obama wouldn't be president. But the guy that's not a very good man. Anyway, sorry. It's September 6, 2025, 2:26 p.m. And I saw this in the past. I saw this debate. I was following the things. The younger me saw this debate. So you hear me from YouTube moments. Anyway, I need to find Barack Obama. So sorry, but I wanted you all to know about that. So sorry, it's that guy's fault. That white guy's fault. That you didn't become president. No,
President Bush's plan would do nothing to help him, them.
Yeah. Seriously, that white guy on the stage cheated on his wife, made a baby with somebody else. And, yeah. Chelsea, that guy cheated. Yeah. Andrew never lies. I mean, you will find out in the future yourselves.
And Barack Obama. It runs about an hour and 40 minutes.
President Obama, I saw all these debates in my past, and I'm trying to find long videos of both of you so that I can help you with the subprime mortgage crisis. And do I have to use a campaign event? What the hell? Do I have to use a campaign rally? Because there's documentary about how to do with the subprime mortgage price. I think I might have to. Anyway. By the way, this is after the. I did not lie about that dude. I mean, I don't know when you guys are gonna find out about it. He cheated on his wife and made a baby with somebody else, campaign manager or something like that. I forget what it was. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's why he's. Oh, he's not there anymore. Yeah. Yeah, never. Have fun. September 6, 2025. I saw it. September 6, 2:28 p.m. for me. Anyway. I'm sorry. It's that guy's fault, right? Because he didn't siphon votes from me. Anyway.
And waiting there will be a stack of problems.
Yeah, I'll assume all the other banks on money will be credited. So I need to find a video. I'll be back. I mean, I will help you, Secretary. Anyway, I'll be back. See you around. Oh, perfect.
And we're live now as Democratic presidential candidates Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama are in Milwaukee this evening at the
Both of you?
Airline Center. They're attending a dinner for the Wisconsin Democratic
Both of you?
Party. This is the party's annual.
This is just people talking. Okay, that's good enough. I mean, you're in the administration, clearly, so. And supposedly Barack is in this room, so let's do it. Alright. Listen and pay attention. Try to not get distracted, right?
Paul LeBlanc was a derivative salesman at Morgan Stanley who remembers the pressure to get more deals done.
This is a documentary on how we fix the economy. So.
I mean, I used to know all the statistics because I used to talk about it every meeting. How this is a growing market. You have to get your customers involved.
September 6th, 2:31 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 2025, Saturday for Andrew. So.
It was a massively important.
This documentary is in 2013, so it's after the economy.
It was a private market, unregulated and out of view.
You already know about this one, though.
See, unlike an exchange-traded market, where all the banks can see all the positions, there's no public market for these derivatives. You can't look in the newspaper and get a price for it. These are all private, off-exchange markets, and nobody else in the market knows what's going on. And because this market was opaque, the spreads, the difference between what banks could charge for derivatives and what it cost to provide them, could be huge.
How much were these things making for the bankers that were selling them?
The spreads on derivatives are several times larger than on comparable cash securities. This is a general rule. And that's why the banks trade them.
Cash securities being those
equities, bonds.
Well, paint some picture of that and the kind of money that people were making.
The best reference that you could give is that if you look at, say, the spread that a bank might earn doing an IPO for Facebook, they're going to maybe make 1% to bring out that IPO, very hot IPO. 1%. If you're doing the same size deal in a derivative security, you might make 10 times the fee.
10%? Wow.
And the basic business that they created is immensely profitable. But there's a problem with all of this. Most people in finance assume risk can be eliminated. But all you can do is move it around from one party to another party.
Indeed. I'm learning too. Andrew's learning how to do it. This is gonna tell. It's 4 hours document. I need to go pee.
Moving towards
diabetes.
We must.
I'll be back. You know, President. I mean, not. Oh shit. Sorry, poison. Secretary Clinton. I would have been nice to be president. Sorry, I do that all the time. Secretary Clinton. Anyway, if I feel Andrew feels like he deserves to win the lottery tonight because the service that I provide to the American people. Anyway, it's $1.8 billion now. Second largest jackpot. Wish me luck, President Clinton. I mean. Secretary Clinton. Secretary.
Something to address the regulation of hedge funds, especially derivatives in this country. $33 trillion, a substantial amount of it held by the 25 largest banks in this country, a substantial amount being traded in proprietary accounts of those banks. That kind of risk overhanging the financial institutions of this country, one day, with a fire, will wake everyone up.
How did he know about that?
Proposals circulated to rein in the banks and to regulate derivatives.
What are you trying to protect? We're trying to protect the money of the American public, which is at risk in these markets.
The head of the commodity
$11 trillion is
Brooksby Bourne led the charge.
There's no way to unwind it.
Which has been given the authority to oversee the major derivatives markets.
Too late.
Bourne was
Too late.
absolutely right. Because what she said is if you don't have transparency and regulation of derivatives, the risk is going to build up and they're going to lead to a financial crisis. It's going to cause massive taxpayer bailout.
And she was true because Andrew would have told President Bush about this.
The banks didn't want anyone to know how much risk they were taking on. They didn't want to have to quantify it on their balance sheet. They wanted to be able to push it off and hide it. And that was why they lobbied so hard to make sure that swaps and derivatives would be treated differently from other kinds of financial products.
And
Others wanted them to be regulated like insurance.
Right. I see that face you just made, Secretary.
Insurance products for all the obvious reasons. If you're gonna write insurance, you have to have enough money to pay
cover
for insurance.
Yeah,
But if you write a
exactly.
credit default swap, you don't have to have that same amount of
No,
money.
you don't,
on hand.
because that's-
or anything else, including importantly, no disclosure.
So
I
you're saying
know.
it's a kind of under-the-table insurance agreement that avoids regulation.
It's an
Yeah,
insurance
and the best part is
designed not to be regulated as an insurance product.
Exactly.
And designed to avoid regulation at all. And one thing we do know is that when a product of any type is designed with minimal regulation, capital and activity moves into that area and it expands dramatically.
Regulation
That is,
derivatives transactions.
I think is he dead?
Professionals is unnecessary.
The chairman of the Fed, Alan Greenspan, sided with the banks.
Hinders the efficiency of markets.
Alan Greenspan was coming from a very libertarian tradition. Keep your hands
No,
off
still alive.
everything. The markets
Just you're still alive. Alan Greenspan is still alive.
If there's a problem, then we'll clean up.
According to the internet, quick
And
check.
that really was the way the Federal Reserve operated under his leadership for almost 20 years.
Yeah, on the Federal Reserve, we need to.
On Capitol Hill, supporters of bank deregulation made urgent, stark pleas.
The future of America's dominance is the financial
It's September 6, 2025.
Was legislation to lift restrictions on how banks could do business.
pass this bill, we could find London or Frankfurt or Shanghai becoming the financial capital of the world. This bill is going to make America more competitive on the world market, and that's important.
And legislation.
The bigger problem would be the $37 trillion in debt that America has now that might actually compromise America's leadership as the financial leader of the world. Our reserve currency status is at risk, so
And it benefits every consumer in America.
it's not because of this thing that's happening. It's because of the virus, and the virus happens because of Alexis' boyfriend. So
To maximize
it's Alexis' boyfriend that caused everything. Alexis' boyfriend is the most dangerous boyfriend, the devil. I have located the devil. Bill, it is a Bill. I have located the devil in the year 2025.
Derivatives market went into
Andrew has fulfilled his dharma.
No transparency and no regulation.
It's
What you see is
Alexis
this
Renne's boyfriend.
explosion
So
in
Alexis Renee Glock's boyfriend.
in the United States and throughout the world.
The banks had won the day. Credit default swaps would now be introduced to new markets.
The next application of this same technology was to portfolios of consumer credit risk, and in particular mortgage-related credit risk.
And that is what happens.
And the higher the risk, the better.
What everyone is trying to create is something that has a high rating and a high yield. That's the holy grail, that's the goal, is to mix together assets in some way so that you come out with a triple A and a big return.
And that is very
And so Wall Street discovered the rewards of funding the American dream.
Yeah. You know what's really interesting? What I've been thinking about Secretary Clinton? In the future, we're starting to build robots, humanoid robots. I wonder if you can build houses by robots. Not Terminators yet. We don't have Terminators yet. Skynet. The artificial intelligence we have is not general artificial. We don't have Terminators yet. I'm kind of hoping we get Terminators. Andrew's going to try to. You know, if I win the lottery, what I'm going to do? One of two things. Either make Terminators or make robots that build houses for people. Yeah.
Here in Georgia.
Build houses. Single home somewhere that are fast to build. And just charge the cost of construction, the materials, not the people. Because with a human being building a house, you have to look at this. You have to use as a human being, you have to pay the whole day. Construction workers with union jobs, you know. But a robot, you use a robot.
Barnes is renowned for having taken on Wall Street over subprime lending, a market the street had traditionally avoided.
In the 80s, there was no place for subprime. Nobody wanted it. The banks
Smoking's back where you go.
Because there was a higher risk. And what really changed the appetite for subprime mortgage was you could securitize. And you could sell it on Wall Street. They do it in tranches. And then they wrap it up so they could be packaged together and have an overall higher yield.
Nearly half of all new single-family home construction is in the South. Now more than 50,000 a month.
And of course, Moody's says AAA. So it was just a feeding frenzy. I mean, it was just an absolute feeding frenzy for subprime mortgages.
Why would they call subprime if it's
And able to spend double what they did just 2 decades ago.
Countrywide home loans?
And you could just about drive by a bank and they'd throw loan paper in your car as you pass by. Came very loose. Came very loose.
But what big banks on Wall Street did not or would not see was what was happening on the ground around the U.S. A wave of lending abuses.
The Wild West experience in home mortgages was well underway. 41-year-old Essie Mae Hector, mother of 3, agreed to a second mortgage at 7.5%. We were creating mortgages that we had never seen before.
Second
and they were
mortgage.
being created faster and faster.
The interest rate on these loans was as high as 42%.
We saw borrowers given loans that were greater than the value of their home. Home buyers were getting loans that had no income.
When you have a high interest rate, then you have high points, then you have prepayment penalties, then you have balloon payments, then you have
Prepayment penalties.
mortgages, and you layer those bad practices on top of high interest rates.
Prepayment penalties is
Housing advocates around the country took on predatory lenders.
prepayment penalty is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Why would you punish people for paying the loan unless you just wanted to forcing them to pay the interest, right?
And others are making a last.
Over what is called the Georgia Fair Lending Act.
It's up right now on the House floor, a governor's bill to crack down on.
The mortgage lenders and the banks struck back.
None of these people have a clue of what's going on. Nobody here understands the business, and they didn't let us speak.
You would have thought I had recommended that we repeal the plan of salvation.
Indeed.
And why were they so opposed to it? Money.
Indeed.
Money.
This bill will cripple the mortgage business. It's going to cripple real estate sales. It's going to absolutely devastate.
This guy has had a stroke. Half his face is not
There were
moving.
threats that the residents in Georgia wouldn't be able to get mortgages anymore because investors would not buy the mortgages in Georgia. And if that were true, no bank would create a mortgage in Georgia.
Interesting.
Georgia now has the toughest predatory lending law in the nation.
Despite the efforts of the mortgage lobby, the bill passed. Fearing similar bills in other states, the lobby helped to unseat Barnes and rescind the law.
Right after Governor Barnes' defeat in November, one of the top legislative priorities for the new governor and the new legislature was to gut the Georgia Fair Lumber. It was about 2 weeks into the new legislative
Yeah, the
session.
people I got sent to hell, right? Secretary Clinton, I think there are some people I need to send to hell. Andrew needs to send to hell. Damn. Well.
The big banks continued to package and sell more mortgage portfolios.
Jesus Christ.
And more of these CDOs contained high-risk
The American
subprime
dream,
debt.
man. Single
To keep the rating agencies on board, more credit default swaps were sold.
Let's say I have a pool of mortgages. I have 1,000 mortgages from California, and I want to package these up. But I decide, well, some of these mortgages may be subprime, and I want to buy a little bit of credit default insurance.
And by doing that, you improve the profile,
in theory, yes,
of your CDO.
Because somebody else is gonna.
I could go get a rating for it too. I could go to Moody's and say, look, I have laid off 2% of the risk on this portfolio. Shouldn't I get a better rating than if I just sold the pool as it was?
So you take a lot of crap.
That's
a lot of mortgages that are people are not going to pay. Right. Okay. But you insure it, and the credit agency says, "Hey, that's a good idea."
Yes. Yes.
New home sales jumped 13% over a year ago, while existing home sales rose 4.5%.
Andrew never got it.
The team at J.P. Morgan was also dabbling in mortgage debt, but they weren't sure it made good sense.
Ah, the people who invented it.
We had some mortgages on our books. We certainly understood the mortgage-backed security market.
So you weren't responsible. Somebody took what you invented it. The nice, beautiful lady, and wasn't her fault.
Data. We had years and years of historical data about how corporates performed during business cycles. But we didn't have that much data about how retail mortgages performed during different business cycles.
Yeah. We knew how much money people said they were making. We saw that UBS and Merrill Lynch had securitized products earnings that were growing faster than most. And we asked ourselves the question, what are we doing wrong? What are we missing? Have we not figured out that the layoffs over this risk? And honestly, we couldn't figure it out. What we never imagined was that those other firms weren't doing anything at all. They were just taking the risk.
JP Morgan is actually pretty good.
The first wave of JP Morgan bankers who had developed these original ideas.
JP Morgan Chase. JP Morgan
When
Chase.
they saw what was starting to happen.
JP Morgan and Chase Bank has merged, so JP Morgan Chase, in my view.
Some of them began to get very worried.
We were just about to say done on the transaction. We had a global phone call, and we were discussing the risk that we were about to do, and we had discussed it over and over and over. And
Did you do it?
finally, someone on that phone call said, "I'm nervous."
Twice as many home buyers are getting adjustable mortgages as
We almost had stopped thinking and stopped reassessing the risk as we went along. And suddenly we found ourselves with a product that was vastly different from where we started.
Because of adjusted rate mortgages.
Every little tweak along the way,
Adjusted rate mortgages.
we'd all said, that's okay, that's okay, that's okay. Until suddenly, we all looked up and said, hang on, it's not okay.
Yeah.
Well, it is still living with a lot of big unresolved problems.
Other banks were not so cautious. They aggressively sold subprime CDOs to customers all over the world.
Credit Suisse.
London became a second beachhead for their trading and sales operations.
The city of London actually did yeoman service in creating some of the
I don't know what a yeoman service is.
They did this offshore. These were not SEC registered deals. These were all private placements, so they were going through legal loopholes.
This is just history for Andrew, so.
A group of state-run banks in Germany, known as Landesbanks, were among the biggest customers. Desiree Fixler, who worked at J.P. Morgan, says she was amazed by these banks' appetite for subprime mortgages.
You knew that a core group of banks in Germany could buy anything. We strongly believed they were very naive. We were amazed that they would do this. It was,
Acres, beautiful.
Every single person, every salesperson was envious of that particular salesperson that was able to cover the largest banks in IKB because you were in one of the hottest seats globally. You were going to generate tremendous profit margin. They were big buyers.
IKB was very convinced that they were one of the strongest banks in that area. They were running around telling people how good they are in investing.
I was just talking to Angela Merkel.
Deutsche Bank did several deals with IKB.
Did you think at the time that your products were helping IKB, that these were good things for them to buy?
Yeah, absolutely. Otherwise, we wouldn't have manufactured this product and sold it to them.
So you were bullish on subprime mortgages in the U.S.
We were bullish on the mortgage market in general, and subprime, which was an element of it. We were not overly aggressive, but we were part of that market, absolutely.
By the end of 2005, the total outstanding value of credit default swaps around the world.
And I think I know why. Because in the future we have a housing shortage, so
every year.
2025 is a housing shortage. Too soon. Too soon.
Did
It's the same thing as batteries.
Credit derivatives?
Yes, they did. Absolutely, they did.
Did they at other banks?
No, not all other banks. Certainly not.
Did the regulators understand that? I don't think the regulators understand.
Andrew needs
I
to
don't think
still
the credit ratings agencies, the bankers, or the
I need
regulators
education in the financial
fully
markets too. I
understood
mean,
all of the
education, warfare,
trends
everything,
that
everything. So
in other
they
words,
relearn
some
everything.
big banks simply didn't know what they had in terms of risk.
I need to relearn.
Certainly, they didn't know some of the forms of risk that they had. That's exactly right.
Sales were higher than most regions, up more than 40% in the West and Northeast in October.
Housing prices continued to
What's
soar.
the problem?
Banks packaged
wow.
more and more CDOs. Theoretically, there was no limit.
The American dream is dependent on people building in America. I mean,
so-called synthetic CDOs allowed investors to bet many times over on someone else's portfolio of debt.
It allowed participants, either buying or selling, so on either side of the market, to take their positions without being constrained by the size of the underlying market.
In synthetic CDOs, all you had to do was make a side bet based on what would happen to this group of mortgages and have that be the basis of the CDO. The fact that someone had done it one time wouldn't stop you from doing it again and again and again.
Yeah.
So how is that different than betting on the outcome of the Super Bowl or a horse race or a craps table?
Yeah.
There's no difference.
You're just betting on
It's just a
something
pure
failing
bet
or
by somebody who
nothing.
has no economic interest in what they're betting on.
We're pretty confident that the housing market's not going to go down at all. It's just going to go up.
Within a
So,
decade,
yeah.
you have the most phenomenal machine anybody's ever seen.
New homes are selling at the second highest rate on record. The housing boom is going right now.
Profits soared 93%.
Expected to dole out $36 billion in bonuses this year.
I think it is.
Secretary Clinton, it's $11 trillion of American money good for 36 million.
Innovation and globalization appear to have delivered this incredibly heavy cocktail of tremendous growth.
Top executives will earn as much as 20 to 50.
Between 2003 and 2006, Dick Kovacevic, CEO of Wells Fargo, remembers attending meetings with bankers and regulators.
Oftentimes what would happen at these meetings is regulators would be there, like Chairman Bernanke, and there might be 30, 40 bankers. And they would often go around the room and say, well, what are you guys seeing out there? What's working? Are you concerned about housing?
Secretary Clinton, one advice Andrew would like to recommend to you and everybody else. Everybody worshipped Alan Greenspan, right?
It's toxic waste.
Right.
We're building a bubble. We're not going to like the outcome.
What did your fellow bankers say to you?
Don't worship the wrong people,
You thought
right?
this stuff was toxic.
Well, the
Don't
ones
worship
that
the
were
wrong
in
people.
it said I was wrong. And everything's fine.
Yeah, I
I don't
mean,
see any.
Everybody worshipped Alan Greenspan, and then
But you saw risk all over the place.
There's a great set of adages on Wall Street about where risk will.
I'm just learning about
We
the
ask
subprime
people
mortgage
that
crisis, and I
basically
will.
split
This
between two
documentary
camps. One
will
says that
have
risk will
later
flow
on
to
what the
smartest
what
person,
everybody did
the person
to
who
fix
best
it later.
understands it,
So
and the other says that risk will flow to the dumbest person, the
Yeah.
person who least understands it.
Yeah.
And at least based on my experience and my understanding of what has
Risk
been
will go to the
happening in
dumbest
derivatives
person.
market, it's the latter.
I was
yeah,
amazed
risk
at
going to the dumbest person.
the
Like I
interest
just
on the
said.
part of investors to invest in a product that was highly complex and very risky on top of it.
So let me get this straight. You were first to the party. You developed this.
Yeah, because you.
Of stuff.
That's right.
And providing credit default swaps on it. But now everybody else has jumped into the game.
Everybody wants to do it.
But your team decided to stop.
Well, because you invented it, and you would know. Wait a minute,
marching.
Right? If you invent this stuff, you would be like. And you do. J.P. Morgan Chase is merged, so.
I mean,
Chase Bank and J.P. Morgan have merged, and they are. You're the biggest
some
bank.
investors, some banks, some borrowers
Wait.
who are a bit greedier
J.P.
than they should
Morgan.
be.
J.P. Morgan Chase is the biggest bank in the world.
No one wanted the party to end.
They made the right decision. Now they rule the world. Basically, J.P. Morgan Chase is the biggest bank in the world right now. In America, anyway. Biggest bank in America. I mean, pretty sure it's the biggest bank in the
To
world.
imagine losses of that severity required very significant assumptions about the path of the economy, which were just not in people's mind.
Really?
So it required things like
With a time
assuming
machine
that
on the
house
planet.
prices in the United States fell by 25%.
Which it did.
People weren't thinking that way. And as long as house prices never fell, then these risks would never come home to roost. And that ultimately is obviously very flawed logic.
Yeah, I mean, damn,
As
right?
interest rates rose early this year, home sales slowed, and after years of record appreciation, businesses and individuals.
Thing is, houses are still. We're doing the exact same thing in 2025 in your time. Well, without the subprime mortgage prices, so. But
When
it,
housing
most
prices started
people.
to drop, only a very few bankers could see the bubble. they
Oh,
were
I can see
trapped
why now when somebody wants. Because what's what I want to do, right? I want to make houses cheaper so everybody can afford it. The moment I do that, it crashes the housing market.
All the smart money.
The same thing happens again, and it's like.
All the banks tried to
Damn.
effectively repackage
Shit.
what they were stuck with.
Because if you make building houses really, really cheap, and then you can build a new, really, really nice house somewhere with robots, the value of that home is cheaper for, and then a poor family can buy it. Poor African American family can afford a
One of
really
the Wall
nice
Street
luxury home.
banks that took advantage of
And
the
the moment
declining
that
market was
happens,
Goldman Sachs.
Wall Street gets.
According to a
Jesus
congressional
Christ.
investigation,
Now the
bank
Russians
created
and
a series of CDOs
yeah.
containing
Never mind.
toxic subprime, and then sold them to customers.
We at Goldman Sachs
I know there's two things, right? You want to make houses, luxury houses for brown and black people cheaper, but
Using credit default swaps, bet against them.
They bet against their own clients. So when their clients lost money, Goldman was making money. Goldman has a little slogan that the clients come first. No, they didn't. Not in these transactions. Goldman came first, second, and third. They were
not
really
a fiduciary, right?
major bank which made money when the housing bubble burst.
In a settlement with the SEC, Goldman admitted that some of their marketing materials did not disclose important
Goldman Sachs
information.
collapsed. What the hell?
But Goldman claimed that their investors were highly sophisticated institutions.
34 subprime mortgage companies have gone bust.
One customer was that German Landesbank, IKB.
Anyone associated with the subprime market is going to pay the price.
Even when there was a downturn in the markets, they were
What did
still
you say about Goldman Sachs?
I mean, the market is telling them. It's on the screen. There are headlines everywhere. Danger. But they still wanted to go ahead.
In my past, Goldman Sachs.
Hard to tell them that.
I thought Goldman Sachs collapsed. I mean, what the fuck? Okay.
Those discussions,
That's the timeline now.
The word crap wasn't used. But, I mean, those discussions definitely happened. But they felt that this was just a temporary glitch in an overall bull market. It will recover. It has to recover.
In July 2007, the German bank IKB, stuffed with subprime, was the first bank to fail. It was only a matter of time before the crisis.
Lehman Brothers failed, and then Goldman Sachs failed. I mean, what the hell?
We know that the housing
Lehman Brothers failed, Secretary Clean, and then Goldman Sachs failed. Now they're saying IKB is the first thing to fail. What the fuck has happened to the past?
2008,
What the fuck?
becoming clear that this was a much, much bigger problem.
Okay, this is
than
time on now,
anybody
so.
anticipated.
There was a broad misperception of the risk
Okay,
in
we failed
housing
first.
prices.
Okay.
The widespread view
Lehman
that
Brothers failed.
we could have a regional decline in housing prices. But
Why did they
never a
even
national
not mention
decline in
Lehman
housing
Brothers? I
prices
mean,
proved to be horribly
weird.
wrong.
How did the Lehman Brothers? What the fuck? I'm the Lehman Brothers. You mean Lehman Brothers? Lehman
In New
Brothers were
York,
first.
banks were trying to unload what they could. But there was confusion. At Citigroup, they were running in circles.
One of the incredible things about Citigroup we now know was, although it was tossing these risks off its balance sheet, those risks came right back, almost like a boomerang. Without knowing it, they had set up one business to offload risk, and then completely reversed that business, taking those risks back onto its balance sheet.
It was quite clear to me that a number of really quite large financial institutions had not had the kind of management information systems which allowed them even to know what all their risks were.
That was astounding to me.
It was
Fascinating.
astounding to me.
The sort of origination of these subprime loans, the creation of the CDOs, that business.
Bridgewater Associates knew. So.
It would all come down to those credit default swaps. Would they pay off as they were designed to do?
We have known for generations that banks are susceptible to runs. Banks can't function if everybody comes and wants their money.
I remember Bank of America. There we go.
This
Merrill
time,
Lynch is part
it
of
would
Bank
be
of
a
America
run
now.
on an insurance company. AIG was on the hook for $440 billion worth of credit default swaps.
Damn.
Remember, an insurance contract is only as good as the credit quality of the insurer. They have to pay you. And if they can't pay you, for whatever reason, then this whole process of risk transfer breaks down.
Yeah.
September 18th of 2008, when a conference about CEOs, and CEOs traditionally don't read their Blackberries during meetings, but I kept looking around and noticing.
Oh, hey.
And so I turned
This is
to
showing your
research
future,
and
Secretary Clinton.
the words in
You have 7 months before this happens, so.
The situation like a financial nuclear holocaust.
So I picked the right time. 1 year about this, Secretary Clinton.
AIG.
Apparently, the
could not
subprime mortgage crisis have
conceivably
not
have
happened
paid
yet.
all of those credit derivatives because it
You're
had,
welcome, Secretary Clinton, by the way.
understood
And,
the risks.
maybe it's just a
Did
good
not
thing you
have
didn't
what
win the
they call
election.
balance put
It's a
or
shit
near
show.
enough capital to back their losses.
Didn't everybody
Secretary
know
Clinton,
that
Secretary
AIG
of
was
State.
holding a lot of CDS?
No, there was no disclosure. That's the whole point. They haven't reported this to anyone else.
Saved our
The other dealers
country.
have no idea what's going on.
I will try to help you both, Secretary
banks
Clinton
don't
and
know.
President Obama, to try to save America, because America is going to be
The
in danger
banks turn this market
from
into their own
multiple
private
things.
It was, in fact,
You're
a
welcome.
financial shell game where we were manipulating banking results by moving
For knowledge
the
of the
risk
future,
out
you know.
to one door, but bringing it back into the banking system by another door.
Yeah.
The risk was not leaving the banking system.
You are. You still are.
And everybody in the world was
And,
connected to these chains of risk.
I will ask you for advice in the future about what we
And
need
if
to do
any
once you
part
know
of
much
that
more.
chain breaks down because
And
they
I think my
entire
future wife
system.
Alexis is bye bye, come bye bye, bye bye. I know. Right? I need a new wife, basically. Secretary, I need a new. Documentary has
Dreamed of
6
by a
series
group
left.
of
So
young JP
part
Morgan
1.
bankers at a weekend retreat many years ago was supposed to reduce risk.
Yeah. Well, is it?
Their original idea
Well-
was taken and it turned into a Frankenstein monster, which I never dreamt would become so big and spin out of control to that
Because
degree.
it's so much.
It was a very scary time. We were in totally new territory. And the notion that Lehman Brothers could be filing for bankruptcy
Yeah,
and
they were there to go
AIG,
with that.
people at risk of the same fate was absolutely
1 second, let me check. When did Lehman Brothers? When did?
Women who couldn't vote or own property or earn a salary or send their daughters to school.
September 15, 2008. So 7 months. You do. Secretary Clinton, you have about 7 months before Lehman Brothers files for bankruptcy.
Not just the U.S. economy, but the world. Well, I mean, it wasn't really conceivable to do that. I couldn't get my money earned, and I know others couldn't. We never
It hasn't happened yet, right? For years, right?
And I was disappointed, hugely disappointed. I mean, I was part of a market that
She's still really beautiful.
was doing the right thing. And maybe I was idealistic, maybe I was young, maybe I didn't fully appreciate where we were going.
Andrew's the same way.
System
The telephone thing
going
is the
on,
same
all the way
thing.
from the borrower.
Andrew is profoundly naive about the goodness of humanity, you know.
There's a whole system of
Good lesson for both of us. I don't know.
maybe we're turning a blind eye, maybe we're
Exactly.
you know just
Greedy, evil.
It's frustrating to see.
Yeah, greedy or evil, you know. Not your fault, lady. Not your fault. It wasn't her fault. The woman that invented this did not create this problem. Credit the first household. I mean, Andrew has a hard time understanding all this, and why the fuck would they do that? Because I mean, I'm looking at it, and with hindsight, I know why the fuck would you do this, right? But it makes no sense whatsoever. But they did it anyway because it's profitable. It made temporary money, and then if you all know,
Sad thing is it should never have
yeah.
Management should have just stopped it before it got big, and people were suffering for something that should never happen.
Yeah. This is the
Today, the fallout is felt mostly in places that had seen the
yes, you
highest
will,
growth.
but not.
Georgia,
You were there. I mean,
ground zero of the subprime crisis. Local neighborhoods.
America is going to be in trouble,
Cities
but we
throughout
will
the
be
United
okay
States
someday.
are seeing
I will help you.
a rise in
I
vacant
will
and
help you.
abandoned properties. And that's where the neighbors feel.
These buildings are still there. You know, the
We're
Caribbean
concerned
one.
not so much with the complexities of the subprime mortgage market and derivatives.
You know,
These things
Secretary
do
Clinton, if I win the lottery either tonight or a few nights later, I think I will go this path.
Is the fact that the house
Try to rebuild
is vacant, abandoned.
with a robot. I mean,
And we wonder
maybe renovate some of these
how long
these
people pay
houses.
the price for that abandonment.
An abandoned house
A
and fix
neighborhood
it.
cannot survive
No.
long when it has a growing inventory of vacant abandoned properties.
Either you have to tear it down, rebuild it, or and just say the family that you said. Alexis probably had this problem when the house she grew up on is probably not very good.
Raised by investors.
And she picked the easy route, I guess.
You
With
have the securitized pools where investors own pieces of it. The investors.
Because I told Alexis of $800 million and $400 million lottery ticket twice. I don't know if she actually took it. I gave her lottery numbers, so I wanted her to be happy, not knowing what she was going to do with it.
That plays out across this neighborhood hundreds of times.
I don't know if she took it though. Secretary.
That house
It was last year, 2024.
that is somewhere lost in a huge financial vehicle put together by some young Turks.
2003.
It's lost in that.
Somebody tried to stop this in 2003, and then they stopped. They failed. Well, President Obama will probably get this. Yeah, you are absolutely right. I mean, there's 2 minutes, 1.5 minutes left of this documentary. Your timing for this speech is perfect. Well, you have some of the pieces to save America. So, yeah. And that's the end of the documentary or something. Piece 1 of saving America. Oh my gosh. That's all pieces.